Today I want to talk to you about edible leaves. And we grow things that are commonly accepted foods or staples in our area, right? Things like okra, collard greens, potatoes, so many different things. But what we don't often recognize is the main fruit that we harvest from these particular plants is not all that these plants have to offer. Okay? Take for instance roselle. Roselle is often grown for the seed pods. That would be, or the calyxes, this here, right? This is what we grow it for. We use it to make drinks, jams, and jellies, and then the pod on the inside we often use for making pectin for those jams and jellies and syrups and whatnot. But what you may not know is that this leaf is also edible. Now, I've tried it, and it does not taste too different from the actual fruit. The young leaves have a lemony, almost fruity taste to them. Like, it would be excellent to punch up a salad. I think I'm going to do that with these leaves here. Kin to our roselle is okra. We grow it also for those lovable salami pods. Well, those leaves are also edible. Now, I've heard this for a while, that with standard okra, if you get the leaves young enough, they're not too fibrous and they can be tenderized and cooked like you would a collard or mustard, turnip, something like that. But I really wanted to grow the motherland okra because, I mean, look at it. It's beautiful, for one. But two, I heard that those leaves stay much tender, more tender, even at a larger size. So that's why we went on this journey this year, is to grow it and harvest those seed pods, but also be able to use those leaves. We just did a recipe last night. It was amazing. I was so impressed, and if you haven't seen that video, I will put it in the description or either do a pop-up card somewhere. So that's two. These two are cousins, right? Okra, roselle, or hibiscus. They're in the same family, so it would make sense that those leaves would be edible from both of those plants. But there's more here on the farm where you can get multiple uses from one plant. Let me show you. You see this jungle of a mess here? In that jungle is a failure on two different crops for us this year, but the third crop will be just fine. This is where we have our muscadine vine. When we originally planted our muscadine vine, we cut back these trees, but they grow so fast, right? And so this year, when it was time to get pruning done, I don't know what happened, but we did not prune these trees back. So two things happened. The muscadines ran all the way up the tree. You can see there's literally muscadines like 20 feet up in the air, okay? That's the first failure. So we didn't get as many muscadines because the squirrels, they just hop from tree to tree and they just help themselves. And it's not like we were going to get up there and get them. But they also did get some of our lower ones as well. That was a bit disappointing. So yeah, the second failure was, the other reason why we needed to trim those trees is because there's a bed up under all of this where we plant in, and it's where we planted our garlic this year, and it did not size up because it did not get enough it didn't get enough sun. So yeah, that happened. But despite all of that, we are still going to be able to harvest these muscadine leaves. Now, muscadine leaves are interesting because and this is true of, I believe, any grape leaf. I would just research before you decide to use it. But grape leaves in general are high in something called tannins. And people often use grape leaves in their pickles and relishes because it kind of helps to keep everything crispy because it helps to absorb water. But that's one use for it. Another use that we are going to be utilizing on the healthier looking leaves will be for tea. Last year we researched and we found that muscadine leaves can be used in tea. And I started researching and I found that a lot of companies actually use these as filler in their teas. And when I began to dehydrate these to craft our own tea blends, I noticed a very distinct tea-like smell. Y'all, it was crazy. And as far as flavor goes, I haven't actually tried these by themselves with no other herb or spice mixed in, but they don't get in the way of the other flavors, which I like. Because if let's say you're wanting to have some echinacea tea, then maybe you like the flavor of the echinacea and that's what you want to taste. This is what makes it a good filler. It doesn't have a whole lot of flavor and it's easy and quick to dehydrate. So all of this situation that I have here, we'll be working on harvesting the healthy looking leaves and getting them dehydrated over the next month or so before the leaves start to fall off and before there's a freeze. So before we go though, there is even one more. There is one more that I am aware of at this point because I keep discovering this stuff and I gotta pull these leaves now because they're low. It's crazy how as each year goes by, you learn more and more about sustainability, what's available in your neck of the woods, and how to fully use it. It's just like, it's awesome to be able to do that. Okay. I have a small dehydrator considering, that, well, it's bigger than the one that I had before, but it's still fairly small. These leaves take up a good bit of space, so I don't harvest a whole lot at one time. It's an ongoing process. As the temperatures are cooling, it's even easier to get these dehydrated because the house is cooler and I'm not burning up the house, killing the AC and the indoor temp. So follow me to the other end of our property and I will show you our last one for the day. And you already know what this is. This is the wonderful edible fig. Now we've got plenty of figs still on this tree to mature. This is a late maturing variety. So I may pick a few leaves here and a few leaves there, but it's really difficult to get the fig leaves because it's so late maturing. So this will be my first year doing it and I'm just already recognizing that that's going to be an issue. I am having some issues with some spotting on that side of the tree. I don't know if maybe that side gets more sun. I'm not exactly sure, but I noticed that this side is much better with that. The fig leaf is also edible. People use it in a variety of ways, but it's really good for lowering blood sugar and lowering blood pressure. So what a lot of people do, from my research, is to just take the leaves and dehydrate them and make tea. And y'all know I'm all about making that tea, right? I'm all about making that tea. It's become a new hobby that I really enjoy, crafting our own teas, because I mean, like, you're like the master of your own domain. Like, you can do whatever, of course, safely anyway. So Come off here, buddy. That one might be okay. So those leaves are huge, right? So you can't get too many on a dehydrator tray or in a dehydrator, but this is the other thing. The sap that comes out, I can get it here, is dripping now, is said to be some sort of natural latex or something. So I was really scared because I'm allergic to latex, but then I haven't had any, it's dripping over here as well. I haven't had any issues with this. So I think it's just the synthetic latexes, which is crazy. Like, oh my gosh, learning so much about plant life and its usefulness is really one of those reasons why I just love doing what we do. I'm in awe of our creator every single day, and I don't know why there's so many spiders in this tree. Okay, I'm gonna take my leaves, get inside, out of the sun, rest up a little bit, and then I'm gonna wash these and get them in the dehydrator. So there are some honorable mentions though. Before, as we go in, I'll mention those to you. And I mentioned this already this year, but that is the sweet potato. Sweet potato leaf is also edible. It is very nutritious and packs about 40, I think it said 40% more vitamin C than the actual potato root. So if you're looking to boost your vitamin C, go for the sweet potato leaves. Just cook them up, and they have like a spinach type flavor. They will take on basically whatever seasonings you put on, and they remain fairly tender. So yeah.